I'm Fiona Mear, I'm one of the co-head teachers at Low Ash Primary.
I'm Beth Medhurst, I'm the other co-head teacher at Low Ash Primary School, and we've been enrolled together since September 2019.
So in terms of the way we structure our governing body meetings, we don't have separate committees for performance and resources. We have a different focus for each meeting, but we found that doing separate committees meant that everybody was then tied up with so many meetings away from the main governing body meeting, and then reporting back to each other, that it got complicated. It was too much duplication of role, and it seemed just much simpler to tackle a different focus each time, and that works for us. And we've been told it's an innovative way of doing things, but it does really work.
The one thing you have to be mindful of with that structure is just ensuring that you do plot out the agendas very carefully, so that you do cover up to everything that needs to be covered, because obviously with getting rid of all the committees there is a danger that some things could be overlooked. There's got to be careful planning with that as well.
And for that reason we have a work plan for the year, so we make sure that we know what we're going to look at in which meeting. So that's covered for the year and timetable out effectively.
I'm John Sker, I'm the Executive Head Teacher of Secondary Schools at the Carlton Academy Trust. Okay, so as a trust that's evolving on its journey, and it's sort of a newer trust of sort of the education field, we have a central board of trustees who organise and run, that we meet with on a regular basis, and some of those meetings are split into different areas. There's full trustee meetings, risk and audit meetings, finance meeting, and then a standards meeting. As schools come on board and join the trust, sometimes part of the agreement for them to come in is they want to keep their own governing bodies. So some of our schools will have governing bodies where a lot of the information is desegregated to, and some will continue to operate at just a trust level. So we have a sort of a hybrid model at this point, which probably reflects the changing world of education and obviously the national picture around academisation. As an organisation, so here at Carlton Bolin, we report to the central trustees. So the director of primary and myself as the lead on secondary will report on standards to the executive committee, and will discuss and get challenged over the performance and the results and the outcomes and what is going on in our school lives.
My name is John Devlin. I'm Executive Head Teacher of the Our Lady Victories, where we are today, St Anne's in Keighley, and also St Joseph's in Keighley and St Anthony's in Shipley. And I work with the Blessed Christopher Wharton Catholic Academy Trust. I've been head teacher here at Our Lady Victories a very long time, 16 years since 2006, and I've been executive head for 7 years with the other schools. I love my job. I'm a Keighley boy and a Keighley Catholic boy, and I'm very privileged to be able to work in the job that I have, and do all I can for the children of Keighley, my hometown, which I love very much. A couple of years ago we decided to get quite creative. We thought we'd make the most of the opportunity with myself being executive head of the 3 Keighley Catholic primaries. So we decided to have one academy council for the 3 schools, which took it was a big decision, because people were very attached to their own schools and not exactly partisan, but you have your own school and your own community. But we've been absolutely delighted with how it's gone. One of the problems particularly with the Catholic system, is sometimes it's really hard to recruit governors, and we found it much easier to. We have a full complement every time we meet. And also what we were able to do was, I think we were able to retain the best governors from each of the schools, and we were careful about which governors we chose, the areas of expertise that they have. So we were able to make sure that one of our governors has a lot of experience with safeguarding, and some of the others with teaching and learning with their specialities, compliance and so on. So we were able to make sure that the most experienced and most skilled governors were retained for the new Academy Council. And I think that's really important, because it's hard being a governor, volunteer, these aren't paid roles. And if we have some governors out there who have built up some expertise over the years, it's really important to retain them. And what we also found by the new model of governance was that it almost gave them a new lease of life, because it was something different. They'd been a governor for Some of them had been a governor for over 10 years, and this is different. It was a different way of working. and it was very interesting way of working because you can benchmark for standards, for finances, for buildings and health and safety, and it helps when in terms of compliance, when you're looking at websites, you're checking them against each other and so on. And so the new model that we have, we're very happy about and confident about, but we did want to have an external review of governance to, I suppose, to give us the confidence that what we were doing was right, which is why we asked Nick Briggs through Bradford Birth to 19 to do an external review of governance for us.
Hi, my name's Chris Bunting. I'm Director at Bradford Birth to 19, a school improvement and teacher training organisation based at St Edmunds Nursery School in Girlington, Bradford, but I'm also Chair of Governors at Saltaire Primary School. Okay, so when we're looking at the issue of governors' role in kind of monitoring, it's really important to be clear that governors are not school improvement professionals. They're not a SIP. They are there to take a view which is one through the notion of governance. So they should be involved in setting strategic priorities and developing the vision, and to be able to bring a context which is informed from what they've seen and what they've experienced through the school, and to be able to triangulate the kind of things that the head teacher and other members of the school members of the governing body are that they can make a judgment that what they're saying has its basis in reality. And so we like to involve our governors in doing things like walkthroughs within the school. The job is not to make judgments around the quality of teaching and learning. It's not meant to be making judgments about whether they can see learning in place, but they can make really valuable contributions to school improvement by bringing in independent perspective on issues related at the softer edge to some safeguarding concerns, perhaps around pupil perception around bullying or something like that, or to take a view around learning behaviours within the school. And they do that most effectively by being able to triangulate information presented to them into the governing body through their experience of being an active partner and participant in terms of the school. And the most useful conversations we have in our governing body are where you can bring that kind of lived experience of the work of the school, and balancing that up with some expertise that you can bring to the particular issues that you're talking about from your own kind of like background and professional purpose or professional experience, or indeed your points of view as members of the parent community.
Sarah Rawnsley. I'm the head teacher of Newby Primary School in Bradford 5, and I'm at the end of my 32-year career. So our committees have really clear terms of reference with clarity on there. As our governors, we every year review who's on which committee. There is an expectation, unless there is a particular reason, for all governors to sit on a committee as well as the full governing body. However, as people ebb and flow with their lives, then there's an expectation sometimes they can't. And that's the same with our named governors and our specific statutory elements of named governors.
So the scheme of delegation is the structure in place to inform schools, governing bodies, trustees about levels of responsibility. So it places the responsibilities for certain areas of school life, and that could be finance, HR, could be structural, staffing, at certain points of call. So there are certain bits that, so the finances, although the budgets will come centrally from the trust and come down from the CFO to the heads of area, they will then be delegated to the schools, who will then function and run on those budgets. So different parts of school life will be at different places in different schools and organisations. So the appointment of a head teacher would be a trust responsibility and not a governing body of a school responsibility.
The statutory element of governance can be really difficult to keep in touch and on top of, really. So I get an email every 6 weeks or so from Get Information About Schools, GIAS. That's my prompt as the head teacher to quickly go on to GIAS through your DFE sign-in, check all your governance details, make sure everything's okay, and then you're absolutely fine and compliant, and that's the way you just keep it up. Keep on top of it, then you don't have any problems with compliance and statutory elements. Website compliance is another area. It's like a continuous grey pit that we have to keep on top of. The way we do it here at Newby is we had a new website. I utilise the services of Bradford Council through the Governor's Service. They have a really good annual check. They produce a really comprehensive report. It's quite cheap, but it's massively helped us to keep on top of it. On a day-to-day basis or week-by-week basis within school, we've delegated the responsibility of the website to our IT technician. Prior to that, it was the deputy's responsibility, but now we've got it up to date with the help of Bradford. We keep it up to date easily, and it now has become a really good platform to build and showcase all the work of school.
It's really important that governors are involved in looking at your school website and checking that it is compliant. So it's a really good idea for them to have a template of things to look for, which makes it easy and manageable for them to check on a regular basis, because you have to remember that they aren't necessarily educational professionals, they aren't aware of all the guidelines, so they do need that guide of what to look for, but then regular checks can be carried out by them to really quality assure that website, as well as you of course doing your regular checks.
And equally, an external pair of eyes is really useful, because we know where things are on the website, but if they're not immediately obvious to somebody else who's looking for a certain policy or a certain piece of statutory information, then it's not good enough, because it needs to be obvious and clear.